It's the Brad and John Show.
It is the Brad and John Show. Today is the 17th of November. John, this is the last full week of November, isn't it? I mean, as far as like not having a holidays, because isn't a week from today, isn't that the start of the Thanksgiving week when everybody's leaving town, stuff like that?
It is the start of Black Friday, some great consumerism deals. Yeah, we're getting real close.
Okay, the B block, it's all about Brad, and we start off with, what do we start off with, John?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
It's time for Brad's
It's number
Top 3.
Yes, ladies, their union contract states twice.
It's time for Brad's Top
And then we start off with,
It's number 3.
no, I'm trying to decide which is number 3. I'm still up in the air. I've got a couple stories. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with the new owner of the Dominion voting system talks to CNN. Did you see this article by any chance, John?
No, I didn't see this. What's this about?
Okay, he claims that...
Who's he?
Well, you know the guy. What's his name?
Scott Leiendecker.
Scott. Okay, now...
Okay, let's use names instead of pronouns.
I still have a question. If the Dominion voting system got all this money, they sued Rudy Giuliani and they sued CNN. They sued Fox. How in the world what was his name? Scott? Was it what you said?
Scott Leiendecker, yeah.
How did he come up with enough scratch to buy Dominion? Because they probably got millions and millions in their bank account, right?
Yeah, I would say, Brad, just from casual interaction with people that are actually successful business people, if you have a good reputation of building a business, people are willing to loan you money and get a piece of the action.
Well,
so I don't know. I don't know how Scott financed it, but Scott is a well-connected guy with a long history of success. So I think people would look at him and say, hey, this guy's a serious businessman. Let's do it.
Well, the CNN articles talked about the fact that he's not going to take any sides. He's going to be down the middle. And I'm thinking to myself, so in other words, is that saying Dominion really was taking sides? Is that what they're saying?
No, I think that Scott talks about that. I'm guessing that Scott talks about that because there's a lot of people on the right who are distrustful of anything involving a non-hand-counted paper ballot. So I think what Scott's doing is just reassuring people here that he's not coming from this angle trying to be partisan. And in fact, he has a long history of working with both Republicans and Democrats.
I just thought it was interesting because it's sort of like saying if you were on trial and I was the prosecutor and I'd say, John, how often do you beat your wife? Because already
that's the old cliche of how often do you beat your wife?
Right. You've put the fact that does John beat his wife into the equation? You know what I mean? To the point where, and already...
As Brad would say, back when he used to do radio sales, you're assuming the sale. You're assuming the end thing, which is that the man beats his wife. So you say, when was the last time you beat your wife?
It's almost a presumptive close kind of thing, right? That kind of a deal. So how's that for sales? Okay. I just thought it was interesting because the whole thing to me, the article screamed, and I thought it was interesting because it was on CNN because of the fact that they're essentially saying, yeah, the Dominion folks really did cook the books, and this guy's going to uncook the books, right? Isn't that what they're sort of saying?
Yeah, and maybe, I mean, I haven't seen the interview, so I haven't seen if they're actually taking sides. And in real time, Brad, I want to thank you because I did not have that link up. And at this moment, if you go to johncombest.com, if you've already gone this morning, click reload, and you will see the CNN article, thanks to Brad.
John, I'm doing it for you. You ready for number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's time for Brad's number 2.
You know, there's some people...
It's time for Brad's number 2.
If the Democrats were smart, they would approach this person and say, STFU. Get what I'm saying, John? ST.
Shut the Ford frick up. Yeah, what happened? Who is it?
Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden.
Is he still talking?
Yes, he's talking too much. His son suggested in an interview that ran earlier this month on a podcast that the Democrats should, quote, turn the temperature up when asked about extremists on the fringes, although he cautioned he wasn't supporting political violence. He's the Wide Awake podcast. Joshua Rubin asked Biden whether both sides needed to turn the temperature down with regard to extremism, and he said they should turn the temperature up. And he says, I'm going to get myself in trouble for saying this. Hunter Biden getting himself in trouble for saying something? Wow, that's a new wrinkle, isn't it? Let me go it again.
Yeah, I think so. And what's his – so does he get invited on these shows? I'm guessing because anytime you include him on here, he's going to say something fun, and it's going to get attention, and it's going to get clicks, right?
Let me
like
read.
nobody looks at him as a good strategist. They look at him as an interesting interview or a fun interview.
Let me just read this whole thing. I'm going to get myself into trouble for saying this. No, we need to turn the temperature up. We need to turn the temperature up, and we need people to see it for what it is. And what I mean by that is I do not believe that we are going to get to the bottom until we get to the bottom. And I want to get to the bottom faster rather than through this slow kind of process of just being picked apart. A death by 1,000 cuts here. Now, further in the interview, he says, this is a great quote. Ready for this one? He says,
Yes.
We need more people in my party, in the Democratic Party. More people in the elected positions or in positions of power are the talking heads that get paid to go on MSNBC. He says right up front, the talking heads that get paid to go on MSNBC, they need to start talking about that it is, not as conjecture about how or what the Supreme Court is and this debate. So he's essentially admitting that the people on MSNBC, they get their talking points from the Democratic Party, and that's what they do, and they need to talk more about this. But the crazy part of this is that would be like me saying to you, hey, John, wink, 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 don't ever say anything bad about me on the air. You know, that really sort of makes the audience get all riled up because wink, 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 they end up liking me more than you because wink, 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 don't say anything bad about me anymore, John. Get what I'm saying, John?
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, for sure. Yeah, and so is this just pure attention seeking and clickbait?
I don't know. I mean, first off, do we have I shouldn't say we because I'm an American now, I'm not a Republican. Is there a person in the Republican Party, maybe besides Marjorie Taylor Greene,
maybe MTG,
who we would say, just shut up, you're hurting the whole party? Can you name anybody like that in the Republicans?
I think for a while it was probably George Santos.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was
for a while. But other than that, you're right. And I don't know. I mean, I think we have plenty of fringe people, and I think we have fantastic folks who listen to the show that might put like a Nancy Mace in that category from South Carolina or others that would find her to be supremely annoying. But I don't know. But also what I don't think anybody talks about, and just talking through this with you, Brad, if you're Hunter Biden, you probably have a whole lot of anger. And your anger is just as directed at Democrats and liberals who you thought should have supported you from day one throughout all of your travails. And you probably are just so filled with anger that you want to, quote, burn the whole thing down, unquote, and just take out your anger on everyone.
You know, I don't know if I told you this or not, John. I was at the airport recently, and...
Oh, yeah? You bought a ticket?
I know.
That's where the story falls apart.
No,
Go ahead.
I had to go to the Starbucks at the airport because I wanted to have a $30 cup of coffee. But anyway, I was at the airport and I saw Hunter Biden, and it was just sort of this weird thing because he had security. He had a security guy in front of him, and he had a security guy in back of him. But it was sort of a weird situation because the security guy in back of him was pushing a wheelbarrow, and Hunter was sort of holding parts of his body in the wheelbarrow. You know what I'm saying, John? It was just...
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. So you're saying he has testicular fortitude.
It was just sort of weird. Okay, you know what I have? I have a finger...
You got number one.
I got a finger that's going to hit this button, and the ladies are going to sing...
And now, big finish, Brad's number.
See, I am not going to be outdone by John Combest because... John Combest had two of his three top threes that were linked together. So there's no way in the world I'm going to let John outdo me because
not at all. What is it, Brad? What's linked here?
I have two stories that are linked together about the thing that I just talked about. And if you remember, I just talked about
wheelbarrow, testicles in a wheelbarrow.
No, I talked about the people of essentially Hunter Biden admitting that the people on MSNBC are giving their talking points about Democrats, and they just talk about their Democrats. Do you know what the tie-in to that is, John?
I have no idea, because you haven't mentioned what the story is.
MSNBC is officially gone. Do you know this now?
They're rebranded as, what is it, MS Now or Multiple Sclerosis Now? What is it?
Now, here's the interesting thing. Do you know what? And this is a softball. This is a rainbow pitch I'm throwing you, John. Okay. What was the original meaning of MSNBC?
It's not Microsoft.
It is.
How about
No.
Miniature Schnauzer?
It was a collaboration between Bill Gates, Microsoft, and NBC News. That was what it's about.
There you go. So Microsoft and NBC, MSNBC.
Right. Okay. Do you know what it is now, and do you know what that stands for, John? You're not going to get this. I know you won't get it.
Is it MSOK? What's the name? I saw that they rebranded.
MS Now. MSNOW.
MS Now. Okay, so for people who have MS and who are looking for a cure, you want to put your station on. Now, I'm guessing the number of people in the United States with MS is more than the number of people that watch MSNBC.
You know, we've talked about this before, that there are radio stations in markets. Matter of fact, there are probably radio stations here in St. Louis, not our radio station because we don't have a big of signal, but there are radio stations here in St. Louis that have more listeners tuning to them at one point in time than MSNBC has in the entire country. And I'm not kidding about that. I'm being very serious about that.
Yeah, you've mentioned that many times, Brad. So they rebranded as MS Now, and the programming, I'm guessing, is the same. It just has a new name.
But do you know what it stands for, John?
I don't have any idea.
There's a word for each letter. The M. Go ahead.
Let's see.
Take a guess.
MAGA sadism.
No.
And then, gosh, how do I say this? Nigerians only. Well, I don't know. Nigerians ornery work.
No, I'll give you the answer. The M is my. The S is source. The N is news, the O is opinion, and then there's and the, which you don't put in there, world. So it's my source, news, option, and the world. That's what the news.
Opinion, you mean, not option.
Yes, opinion. Yes, what did I say? Option? Yeah, opinion.
Yeah, so wow, okay, so that sounds like a couple people were in a room. They pulled a Brad Hildebrand. They were too chintzy to get an agency and actually get good work done. So they probably had some old hobos look at the letters on a whiteboard and say, what could we possibly make this work?
It's like, I put this up on my Facebook page. Some of these little short reels are so funny. It's a bunch of young executives, and they go into a room, and the title on the bottom of the screen is writers get together and discuss what the next Hallmark movie is. So they bring out like...
Oh, yeah, I've seen these reels. Yeah, it's like... A girl goes back to her hometown. She meets her high school boyfriend.
No, they pull out a prize wheel, and the one guy spins it, and it stops, and he says, "Okay, a young girl moves back to the big city," and then they spin it again, and she meets the man of her dreams, who's from her own hometown, back in Smallville, USA, and they get married, and they go back together, and they work at a Christmas tree farm.
Yeah, and they fall in love, but she's engaged. She's got a fiance, and she doesn't know what to do because he's a wealthy doctor. Should she choose a life of comfort or a life of love?
You watch that channel, John? Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely not. I do not have two X chromosomes. I do not watch the Hallmark Channel.
Oh, by the way, do you think that if you're from Kansas City, you're forced to watch the Hallmark Channel? Do you think that's what it could be, John?
Because what's that?
Well, that's where Hallmark.
Oh, because they're based there. You're right about that. Maybe you are. It's better than watching the Chiefs this year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, boy, they blew it last night or yesterday afternoon, whatever you want to call it.
Not good. They're 5-5,
Yeah.
and I'm not a football guy anymore. But like they're 5-5, and that was pretty much a must-win game. From what I understand.
Yeah. It was what they lost in the last couple seconds, wasn't it? The deal. Okay, we have to take a break.